निवासिनि विष्णुविलासिनि जिष्णुनुते.
What's your take on casteless society? Many trads are hell-bent on maintaining pure caste as per some. They even want to ban intercaste marriage. RSB has brought up a good question, which I've been pondering over and I've not really come up with a satisfying answer for myself. See, last day we had a great debate with, I had a great debate with Abhay Agarwal about whether marriage is just a religious institution or not, and whether gay marriage therefore should be allowed inside a religious institution or not. And then we argued about abortion, not really from a scriptural perspective, just a basic non-religious perspective as well, whether abortion is really the right thing to do. Now, my first standpoint on this is that I don't want to call myself a Hindu or a practicing Hindu and then make up Hinduism as I want to. I absolutely am fine with not calling myself Hindu or calling myself atheist for that matter, if some of my personal views don't align with the scripture. Now there the first problem arises is that what the scripture says, that in fact is forever debated, and whether that view in that scripture should be allowed to evolve, there's a huge debate about that. Some people do say that no, Shastras ka evolution khatam. If Shastra's evolution is not possible, then we have to live according to Shastras, otherwise why be a Hindu anyway? Then some other questions come up. Can you or should you really pick and choose some aspects of being Hindu? Is there any room for that? And in all of these questions, my question is to the hardcore believers and people who have read a lot of scriptures, and mainly to people like who are religious leaders, gurus, etc. Okay, or mathadipatis and mahants, shankaracharyas. These people, what are their opinion on these things? Otherwise, we can just conclude on our own that yes, I like Hinduism, I am a Hindu, and these are the parts of Hinduism I like, these are the parts of Hinduism I don't like. Now that's just my way of Hinduism. Is there any scriptural basis for that, and should that be done? Because my opinion is that some things should be off limits, some things should be absolutely sacrosanct, sacred, so that see, when you don't believe in God, or you don't believe in any religion, you make up your own religion, or you believe in every random thing, or you believe yourself to be the God in a way, or that vacuum in your heart gets filled with other random bullshit. But if you do have something called religion specifically, and a God in your mind, whose faith system, whose customs you consider sacrosanct, and everything falls underneath that, then it's a much more simpler way to go on. In that sense, I think Hinduism is, Sanatan Dharma is basically 180 degrees opposite of Abrahamic faiths. Abrahamic faiths are always selling you the idea of equality, that you are in darkness, I am bringing you the light, please join me in light. And if you just come here, there's so much light all around, there's so much equality all around. It's all open for everyone. So either he's doing that, he's saying that to you out of actual sympathy, or it's not empathy, it's sympathy really. And maybe some people do feel that sympathy, that wow, you are so away from Jesus and you really have no way of salvation. Kya hoga bichara tumhara? Aao na roshni ke paas. So that some people might really have that view, and other people might have that view that no, I won't let you worship any false god, and therefore join me in the light. Now, on the opposite side, Hinduism is saying that I am not inviting any random people in my fold. I have this absolutely beautiful, sacrosanct, sacred thing on a pedestal. तुमको आना है तो आओ, नहीं तो जाओ. मुझे कुछ नहीं है. ना मेरा कुछ जाएगा, ना मेरे भगवान का कुछ जाएगा. And if you come, if you do want to pursue this thing, follow all the customs and rituals and try to achieve this thing. This is not a random khairat and reverie that I'm going to distribute on top of you from helicopters. This is a thing you'll have to fucking achieve or get the fuck out. That's the attitude of Hinduism that I really like, actually. Now, if that alienates people, so be it. But other than that, I would say that why that's fine if it alienates people. Because otherwise, what are you trying to even conserve? Why pursue these things called Hindu unity or a Hindu Rashtra anyway? Because we are trying to conserve that thing called something insanely sacred on a pedestal. Because you have to remember, what is the first and foremost reason why we can't bring ourselves down to the levels of pattharbazas? Like some people say that some people like Yogi Adityanath because they think Yogi Adityanath is like a dictator. Arey bhai, he's not a dictator. He's doing what he's supposed to do. He's following the law as much as possible to curb crime. No law in our constitution says that let disorder and violence on the streets go on, and if you pursue to stop that, you are a bad CM. No, that's not how our constitution is written. Our constitution is really enough to give anyone a great life. It's just that our laws are applied selectively. So people who like or worship Yogi Adityanath because they think he's a dictator are really getting some things wrong. Now here I might again come across as that moderates of this era, and who really are weakening Hindu voices. But here's my argument. We have something to lose. The Pattharbaz has nothing to lose. His ideology, his customs, his diet, his name, everything is an outsider in our lands, okay? At best, they are a guest whom we have allowed forever. But if that guest tries to burn your house down, you can't fight him in such a way that you too contribute to burning your house down. Because after all, it's absolutely your own house. You have everything to lose here. They don't have anything to lose, first of all. And also, they are insanely actually stupid. They won't understand that they are burning their houses down. Can you not see from Pakistan and Bangladesh? These dumb fucks have actually burned their houses down. Bangladesh did burn their houses down, and now they are kind of reconstructing, but they'll never be India, okay? On the other hand, Saudi Arabia has realized that, oh no, this is our house. Saudi Arabia understands, UAE understands that those places are actually their houses, and they need to keep that house in order. And this is our house, and we can't let this house get destroyed. So by house I mean our land and our customs, which are sacrosanct and sacred. Now, if it's a sacrosanct and sacred custom that we are supposed to follow, how much should we deviate from Shastras, and where do we get consensus on Shastras? And if Shastras say that there is something called Punarjanam, how do we really get rid of caste system? And I'm saying that as a Vaishya. So when it's convenient to argue that no, see, we were a great society, we did not have any caste system until Portuguese arrived, then conveniently a lot of Hindus and even Brahmins argue that, see, all these evil things were kind of started by Portuguese people. And Brahmin means just anyone who studies hard and is an intellectual. That is a fair argument. By that argument, today any PhD, any professor is a Brahmin, and any self-employed musician is a Vaishya or a Shudra, and people on the lower economic circles are definitely Shudra. Celebrities are Vaishya / Shudra. Soldiers are Kshatriya, etc. But will they then, those same Brahmins, if someone is saying that no, we did those things even before Portuguese arrived, I have no qualms with them. They are being honest in my opinion. But if the particular Brahmins who are saying that there was no casteism or evil occurrings before Portuguese arrived, will they then immediately agree to a sort of, let's say, a policy or claim that says that you all have to stop calling yourselves Brahmin, your caste is blank, your caste is gone, whatever your profession is, that is your caste. That obviously conjoined with that is that any caste based reservations also go poof, it's all blank, one fine morning it's gone, belly up, one fine morning it has to go that way. And therefore the Janevu will be given to anyone who is a PhD because they have completed their studies. Or will the counter argument be that no, Janevu is only for Brahmins as we know it today, because Vidya and Jnana is not Vidya of any random thing or Jnana of any random thing. It's Vidya and Jnana of specifically your scriptures. Then of course anyone and any educated person, any intellectual can't be a Brahmin. Second of all, if the Punarjanam question is really applied, then also we cannot get rid of caste-based, birth-based casteism. How are we going to? Unless Punarjanam itself is debated, which I don't think it is. I think that the only consensus we have in Hinduism, Jainism, Buddhism, and all sampradayas of Hinduism is that there is something called Punarjanam. Now, with the Punarjanam question applied, if someone is Brahmin, if someone is born in a Brahmin family today, that means they did something insanely great in their past life as well. regardless of whether they read Vedas today or not, regardless of whether they know Sanskrit today and do any Agnihotram or Homas, etc., Yagyas at their home or not. They are Brahmins because they did something fantastic in their previous life. So, if the previous life question is applied, and if we don't have a consensus on how much we are supposed to deviate from Shastras, I don't know how casteism goes away, or birth-based casteism even goes away. So I think in conclusion, then I will have to go to the Kushal Mehra route. Then I'll just have to call myself a political Hindu, cultural Hindu, not really a devout Hindu, because if someone's a devout Hindu, should they or can they really just pick and choose random things to follow? These are all questions. I don't have any answers here, because I am not qualified to give these answers. These answers have to be given by people who have read a lot of scriptures. The entropy asked this question. So casteism therefore has to go away by selling at the same time, by selling in a proper way. That anti-conversion laws will also have absolutely no existence in our country. If you really want to convert, but you are not getting any financial or economic benefit out of it. Can a parliamentary structure of Sampradaya be created to create new smritis for the new age? And it must be based on meritocracy and not democracy. Democracy means popularity contest. Theoretically, yes, it's a good idea. But I mean, I don't want to sound negative, but if there's no consensus from existing dharma gurus, Shankaracharyas, Mathadipatis, Mahants, then there's no point. My definition for being Hindu is mutual respect, reciprocity, ahimsa, and the person has to identify as a Hindu. Yeah, then the question would be, where are you getting this idea from? Which scripture told you this? There's generational gap in discussing religion in between Mathadipatis, Pithadipatis and Seekers. Yes, we need to start old school open debates. Your opinion about caste. For example, Mohan Bhagwat said there is no value of traditional caste and Varna, so this will eventually happen. Your expectation matches with RSS. No, that is my hope and it's my theory, but it can't happen unless religious leaders themselves say it. People who we agree are experts on scriptures, if they don't say it, there's no point in even making it legal. It's already legal, right? But I'm saying even from a religious standpoint, if it has to go away from a religious standpoint, it has to come from religious leaders themselves. Because Mohan Bhagwat is not a religious leader. And he can't claim it. He can't claim to make it up. Otherwise, what are we trying to conserve? We have to keep the words of the religious leaders as sacrosanct. Because, see, in all other studies, okay, all other religion studies, Christianity studies, even paganism studies, or Judaism studies, Islam studies, even Roman history studies, in all of these things, people are true believers of that particular thought process and of course know the language in which those particular scriptures were written. It's only in Hindu studies that we only listen to Marxists. So I'm rejecting that. I'm saying we have to listen to religious leaders only, who are fluent in Sanskrit, who have read all scriptures and then are arguing some things. I think our Shankaracharyas and other mathas should have an all India meeting to discuss who and what is a Brahmin in this day and age. We alone cannot decide these things. Yes, they have to have debates. Without their debates, this conversation is not going anywhere. We need to look at these institutions as more legitimate and take them more seriously for that. And they need to show spine for saying times have changed, discrimination on birth basis is wrong. I'm saying, even if they say that no, birth-based casteism will go on forever, which is what I think the Shankaracharya of Puri Jagannath temple says, right? I'm fine with that. Then I'll just say I'm not Hindu then. Fair enough. I'm an atheist. Okay. But let a consensus arrive in the first place, and from religious leaders, and after preferably debates among themselves, if at all there is a disagreement. I think they agree amongst each other that no, birth-based casteism is great. If there is really a debate that should happen, it should happen between them, and then a consensus can come out of them, and based on that I can take a decision. Here we are discussing with atheists, Marxists, liberals, people who have read 4 lines of Gita. That's the problem. Many people may not like this, but Hinduism will not go back to what it was 2000 years ago. It will have to adapt itself with time. Yes, that is correct. And the problem with this statement, as trads will argue, is that it's a slippery slope, isn't it, Abhay? That then if you are saying this statement, that's the same thing said by a Marxist girl from JU who's marrying and putting sindoor on her husband. Okay, that's the same thing she will argue, that okay, this is the age of feminism, so we are evolving with time. अब तो पूजा पाठ भी इंग्लिश में होगा और सिंदूर हम लड़के के माथे पे दे देंगे. Dr. A.R., who is A.R. Anand Ranganathan, once said that if Hinduism is truly a conservative religion, then it would have been the same it used to 2000 years ago. The counter argument to this would be that the fact that we are not the same 2000 years ago, is it because of the invasions and the problems we faced, or is it because we actually wanted it to evolve? Preserve this non-Abrahamic character of Hinduism. It must have the space to evolve with time. This is the eternal quality of Sanatan we need to preserve. This I agree 100% with Abhay, that can some things really evolve, but it has to come from dharma gurus, not from us. Otherwise we are saying that we really know more than them. तो चाहिए ही क्यों? तो राजर्षि नंदी क्यों सुने? तो किसी मंदिर में मठाधिपति क्यों हो? If we claim that we know more than them. I think Shakta culture should be revived because women empowerment needs a Hindu backbone. Otherwise feminist weirdos will capture this issue. Yeah, I think it's already captured. For that to happen, it has to come from dharma gurus, and dharma gurus have to first come out and say what their stand is on casteism. If it still says that birth-based casteism has to exist because Punarjanam exists, then it's going to alienate even more women, and lower caste women especially. Right-wingers need to capture the narrative, yeah. So Abhay Agarwal, RSB is saying right-wing is a supremely divided house. You already have trad versus raitas. Some are ultras who are too impulsive to understand how politics works, unlike left, which is entirely orchestrated by elites. Yes, and that's what I'm saying. RSB has unknowingly, I guess, brought up this great point. It has to be driven by the elites, intellectual elites. Okay, that's why I'm saying our intellectual elites need to come up with a consensus, or at least, yeah, no matter what side of the argument they come up with, they have to say this is what Hinduism is on these specific topics. Here's where we stand. Okay, and based on that, our next line of arguments can come up. In case of defending Hinduism, if they say things with which we absolutely disagree, as former atheists, former commies, or even kind of modern Hindus who does a puja, attends a puja once in a while, then we will just say, okay, fine, you are Hindu, we are not Hindu, but we will fight for you, we will speak for you. Just like Kushal Mehra has understood Hinduism and says that, yeah, I'm an atheist, but I am in favor of any Hindu rights, or if any harm comes to Hindus, I'm going to stand against it. That's the position. That's the Kushal Mehra position is what we will all will have to take if we do end up disagreeing with the intellectual elite of our society. A better sell is political Hinduism, at least broaden the umbrella like Savarkar envisioned. Yeah, but then we will have to simply do what Savarkar also did. He just imagined one fine morning that no, casteism nahi hai, baki sab hai. Baki we are Hindus, etc. You can be a believer, etc. But I personally, who is a political Hindu, has basically pretended that no, casteism does not exist. Some Hindu religious scholars has to go on a rampage of debating every religious scholar like Adi Shankaracharya did. Yes. Even Swami Karpatri Maharaj did this with countless people. Even though he is also known as a staunch birth-based casteism person, he at least debated countless people.
Jaya Jaya He Mahishasura Mardini Ramya Kapa